Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we are exploring one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in American history, the 1965 Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks simple, common, and ordinary. But behind this coin lies a dramatic story involving a national silver crisis, emergency minting changes, unexplained transitions, and rare errors that can be worth thousands. And under the most extraordinary imaginable circumstances, a one-of-a-kind 1965 quarter could theoretically reach the legendary value of $1.9 million. Let's dive deep into the history, the mystery, and the hidden potential behind this unforgettable coin. Segment 1. The silver crisis of the 1960s. To understand why the 1965 quarter is so important, we have to go back to the early 1960s. Silver prices were rising rapidly. People realized that the silver content inside U.S. coins was worth more than the face value. As a result, millions of silver coins were pulled from circulation and hoarded. The government faced a massive coin shortage. Something had to be done. In 1965, the United States Mint made a groundbreaking decision. They removed silver from the quarter entirely and replaced it with a copper-nickel clad composition. This was the beginning of the modern clad quarter. The 1965 issue became the very first year without any silver. Segment 2. No mint marks and emergency production during this chaotic time. Mint marks were removed from quarters from 1965 to 1967 to discourage collectors from saving them. The mint wanted every single coin to circulate. They produced enormous quantities and pushed their equipment to the limit. Because of this pressure, many coins from 1965 show weak strikes, soft detail, worn dies, and imperfections. But despite billions being made, truly high-quality examples became surprisingly uncommon. The coins were shipped everywhere, often damaged, scratched, and piled roughly into bags. Perfect examples are much harder to find than people think. Segment 3. The secret of the rare transitional errors. Now we reach the part that makes the 1965 quarter legendary. While the mint was switching from silver planchets to copper-nickel planchets, a few leftover silver blanks from 1964 were accidentally fed into the presses. This created genuine 1965 quarters struck on silver planchets. These transitional errors are extremely rare. When found, they sell for tens of thousands of dollars or more. This discovery is what fuels the mystery. Collectors wonder whether even more dramatic, never-before-seen transitional errors may still be out there, sitting quietly in old coin jars. It is this potential for hidden treasure that keeps the 1965 quarter in the spotlight. Segment 4. How a coin could reach $1.9 million. Now, let's address the dramatic question. Could a 1965 Washington quarter ever be worth $1.9 million? No known example has sold for that amount. But here is why the idea is not impossible. Imagine a flawless, untouched, perfectly preserved 1965 quarter struck on a leftover silver planchet. Imagine it had a dramatic double strike or another unique mint error on top of that. Imagine it was certified at the highest grade ever seen. A coin that is absolutely one of a kind. That kind of discovery could cause a bidding war among top collectors. In the world of rare coins, unique and historic examples have shattered expectations before. The $1.9 million figure represents the highest imaginable potential in the most extraordinary scenario. Segment 5. What to look for in your 1965 quarter. Now, let's talk about how to check your own 1965 quarters. The first thing to look for is the metal content. A silver transitional error weighs more than a regular clad coin. A normal 1965 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver one weighs about 6.25 grams. If your coin feels heavier, looks brighter, or has a clear ringing sound when gently tapped, it may be worth testing. Also look for unusual features. Off-center strikes, double strikes, missing edges, planchet clips, or any sign of a major minting mistake can increase value significantly. Sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong luster can also raise the value of regular clad examples. Segment 6. Why this coin captivates collectors. The 1965 Washington quarter is a symbol of one of the most dramatic transitions in American coinage. It marks the end of silver circulation coins and the beginning of the clad era. Its story is one of emergency decisions, last-minute changes, and minting surprises. It is also a reminder that incredible treasures can still sit unnoticed in the most ordinary places. A coin from 1965 found in your change or in an old family drawer might just be worth far more than you expect. Closing. The 1965 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of currency. It is a chapter in American history, a product of national crisis, and a coin that continues to surprise collectors with its hidden value. And while the famous $1.9 million figure represents the extreme upper end of theoretical potential rather than an actual sale, it reflects the excitement and mystery that make coin collecting so thrilling. So take a closer look at your coins. You never know what kind of treasure might be waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me again for more incredible stories from the world of coins and collectibles. If you want, I can create a shorter version, a dramatic cinematic version, or a script tailored for fast-paced YouTube storytelling. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today, we are going deep into the world of one of the most intriguing coins from the 1960s, the 1967 Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks simple, ordinary, and familiar. But behind this coin lies a surprising story of minting changes, national coin shortage panic, and rare errors that can send values through the roof. And in the most extraordinary and almost unimaginable circumstances, a perfect, one-of-a-kind 1967 quarter could reach dramatic figures, even the legendary $1.9 million mark in theory. Let's explore the history, the rarity, and the real potential behind this iconic coin. Segment 1. America's coin shortage crisis. To understand why the 1967 quarter is special, we have to step back to the mid-1960s. America was in the middle of a nationwide coin shortage. Silver prices were rising, people were hoarding coins, and the U.S. Mint was struggling to keep enough change in circulation. To fight this crisis, Congress passed special laws restricting mint marks and sharply increasing coin production. From 1965 to 1967, quarters were struck without mint marks, which means you cannot tell if a 1967 quarter came from Philadelphia or Denver. This unusual decision makes this short era stand out in U.S. coin history. Segment 2. No mint sets and limited collectibles. During this period, the mint also stopped producing traditional proof sets and uncirculated mint sets. Instead, they created something completely different called special mint sets. These sets were higher quality than regular circulation coins, but not as polished as proofs. Because no standard mint sets were made in 1967, very few pristine coins were saved. Most 1967 quarters went directly into circulation and were immediately used in everyday transactions. This lack of saved uncirculated stock is a major reason why high-grade examples from this year can be difficult to find today. Segment 3. Minting challenges and unexpected errors. With pressure to produce enormous quantities of coins, the mint pushed equipment hard. Dies wore down quickly, and many coins show weak strikes, soft details, and faint hair texture on Washington's portrait. But this pressure also led to something collectors love: errors. Dramatic off-center strikes, double-struck coins, clipped planchets, and transitional metal surprises have appeared. Some of these errors are extremely rare and have sold for impressive amounts at auction. A major, bold error combined with exceptional preservation is what turns this common date into something incredible. Segment 4. Auction surprises and the path to extreme value. Now, let's talk value. Most circulated 1967 quarters are worth face value. But when you step into high-grade territory, things change fast. A sharp, lustrous, uncirculated 1967 quarter graded at the highest levels can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Add a dramatic mint error, and prices can soar. And that leads to the question everyone asks: could a 1967 Washington quarter ever be worth $1.9 million? No known example has sold for anything close to that amount. But in theory, if a never-seen-before specimen appeared with a spectacular, one-of-a-kind mint error, preserved in flawless condition, it could break every record. Numismatic history is full of coins that shocked the world when rarity, condition, and demand aligned perfectly. The $1.9 million idea represents that extreme theoretical upper limit. Segment 5. What to look for in your 1967 quarter. If you're checking your own 1967 quarters, here's what matters most. Look for strong detail in Washington's hair, clean fields with minimal scratches, and a fully struck eagle on the reverse. Any unusual features might signal an error. Off-center designs, missing elements, doubled lettering, clipped edges, or unusual metal coloration should immediately catch your attention. If something looks strange or exceptional, it may be worth sending to a professional grading service for authentication. Segment 6. The legacy of the 1967 quarter. The 1967 Washington quarter is a snapshot of a chaotic but fascinating moment in American coinage. It represents a time when the mint adapted to crisis, changed production methods, and unknowingly created future rarities. For collectors, this coin is a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking pieces of change can have remarkable stories behind them. The thrill comes from the possibility that just one extraordinary example may still be out there, waiting to be discovered. Closing. The 1967 Washington quarter is more than a piece of metal. It is a relic from a turbulent time in American monetary history. It carries lessons about economics, minting, scarcity, and the unpredictable nature of collectible value. And while the famous $1.9 million figure represents the extreme edge of theoretical potential rather than a real recorded sale, it speaks to the excitement and mystery that surround this fascinating coin. So take a closer look at your change. You never know what hidden treasure you might be holding. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me for more stories from the world of coins and collectibles. If you'd like, I can write a shorter version, a more dramatic cinematic version, or one designed for fast-paced YouTube delivery. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising modern coins in American circulation, the 1997 Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary coin you might find in your pocket or in a handful of change. But behind its simple appearance lies a world of rare mint errors, tough high-grade examples, and collector demand that has turned this unassuming quarter into a quiet standout. And under the right extreme circumstances, a one-of-a-kind specimen could theoretically reach a value as dramatic as $1.4 million. Let's explore the history, the value, the errors, and the hidden opportunities behind the 1997 Washington quarter. Segment 1. The minting scene of the late 1990s. In 1997, the United States Mint was in full stride. The nation was preparing for the launch of the 50-state quarters program, set to begin in 1999. Before that massive shift, the Denver Mint continued producing the traditional Washington quarter with the eagle reverse. Tens of millions of 1997 quarters were minted to meet everyday circulation needs. The focus was on quantity, not collector-level perfection. Coins were struck fast, stored in large bags, jostled during shipping, and immediately pushed into circulation. This high-speed production environment created plenty of small imperfections and made truly pristine examples harder to find than you might think. Segment 2. Why high-grade 1997 quarters matter. Even though the 1997 quarter is modern, high-grade examples can be surprisingly scarce. Most of these coins spent years circulating, picking up scratches, nicks, dents, and wear. Bag marks from the minting process alone damaged many coins before they even reached the public. When collectors began examining 1997 quarters for grading, they discovered that coins with razor-sharp detail, strong luster, and clean surfaces were much rarer than the huge mintage number suggests. Top-tier mint state examples can command strong attention and impressive prices. Segment 3. The power of mint errors in 1997. What really pushes some 1997 quarters into the spotlight is the growing interest in mint errors. Modern errors have become one of the most exciting areas in coin collecting, and the 1997 quarter is no exception. Errors from this year include off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, die breaks, clipped planchets, and wrong metal planchet errors. A dramatic error combined with high grade can transform an everyday quarter into a valuable collectible. Error collectors prize these coins because each mistake is unique. When rarity, condition, and visual impact come together, the price can rise quickly. Segment 4. How a coin could reach $1.4 million. Now, let's talk about the question everyone loves to ask. Could a 1997 Washington quarter really be worth $1.4 million? No known example has sold for anything close to this number. But in the world of numismatics, extreme value is driven by unique combinations. If a perfectly preserved 1997 quarter were discovered with a spectacular mint error, such as being struck on the wrong metal planchet from another denomination or a double strike with dramatic visual impact. And if it were certified at the absolute highest grade ever recorded, it could ignite a frenzy among top collectors. Unique, flawless, historic errors have broken expectations before. The $1.4 million figure represents the extreme, theoretical ceiling that fuels collector imagination. Segment 5. What to look for in your 1997 D quarter. If you want to check your own coins, start with the basics. Look closely at Washington's profile, especially the details in the hair and face. The sharper the detail, the better the grade. Inspect the fields, which are the flat surfaces of the coin. The fewer scratches and dents, the higher the potential value. Check the reverse as well. Look at the feathers on the eagle, the lettering, and the rim for strong, crisp strikes. After evaluating the condition, search for errors. Off-center strikes are easier to spot. Die cracks appear as raised lines across the coin. Extra metal bumps or missing elements signal other types of mistakes. If anything looks unusual, it may be worth a professional evaluation. Segment 6. Why collectors love the 1997 D quarter. The 1997 D quarter represents a turning point in modern U.S. coinage. It was one of the final years of the classic eagle reverse before the state quarters program changed American coin collecting forever. This alone adds historical charm. Combined with the difficulty of finding high-grade examples and the potential for dramatic errors, the 1997 D has become a sleeper favorite for many collectors. It is a reminder that not all valuable coins are old. Sometimes modern coins hold hidden treasures, waiting for the right eyes to discover them. Closing. The 1997 D Washington quarter is more than just a coin from the late 90s. It is a symbol of a changing era in American coinage, a piece with hidden scarcity, and a coin capable of surprising even seasoned collectors. And while the legendary $1.4 million figure represents the upper edge of theoretical possibility rather than a known sale, it reflects the excitement and mystery that keep people searching through their change. So take a closer look at your coins. That ordinary quarter might be hiding an extraordinary secret. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me again for more amazing stories from the world of coins and collectibles. If you want, I can also create a shorter version, a cinematic version, or one optimized for quick YouTube pacing. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're uncovering one of the most surprising stories in modern American coinage. The 1983 P Washington quarter. A coin billions of people have handled, tossed on countertops, and fed into vending machines without a second glance. Yet in the world of numismatics, this simple piece of change has a mystery attached to it. Because under the rarest possible conditions, a single flawless and extraordinary example could reach unimaginable values, even the hypothetical height of $1.2 million. Let's dive into the history, the market, and the shocking reasons this coin has become such a modern legend. Segment 1. A year of economic strain. To understand why the 1983 P quarter is different, we have to look back at the early 1980s. It was a tense time for the United States economy. High inflation, tight budgets, and national recovery efforts created pressure across many government departments, including the United States Mint. In 1982 and 1983, as a cost-saving measure, the Mint made a controversial decision. It canceled uncirculated mint sets. This single move would quietly transform the rarity of certain coins, including the 1983 P quarter. Segment 2. Why the 1983 P quarter became scarce. In most years, uncirculated mint sets help preserve fresh, pristine examples of coins straight from the dies. Collectors rely on them to find high-grade pieces that escape the wear and tear of circulation. But because no official mint sets were issued in 1983, nearly all 1983 P quarters went directly into the pockets of the public. That means the vast majority were immediately used, scratched, dented, and worn. As time passed, collectors realized that finding a truly high-grade 1983 P quarter was almost impossible. A modern coin that should have been common suddenly became a rarity in top condition. Segment 3. Minting issues and error surprises. The story doesn't end with scarcity. The Philadelphia Mint faced intense production demands during this period, and many of the dies used to strike quarters were pushed far beyond ideal limits. This led to coins with soft details, flat hair on Washington's portrait, weak rims, and sometimes uneven or incomplete strikes. On top of that, genuine mint errors from this year include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and even the occasional wrong metal planchet error. When you mix scarcity with dramatic errors, you get a recipe for incredible collector excitement. Segment 4. Auction surprises and the road to mega value. As more collectors began searching rolls and bank bags, high-grade examples of the 1983 P quarter started showing up at auctions. Prices climbed from the hundreds into the thousands, especially for coins certified in mint state grades like MS66 and MS67 with sharp, full details. Error examples surged even higher. These rising prices lit a fire under the collector's market and sparked a fascinating question. What could the ultimate example be worth? What if a flawless, never circulated, sharply struck, major error 1983 P quarter surfaced? A coin unlike anything known today. In that kind of perfect scenario, experts agree that it could theoretically reach astronomical prices, even the dramatic figure of $1.2 million. Not because such a coin has sold for that amount, but because in numismatics, the most extraordinary examples break every expectation. It is the possibility, not the precedent, that fuels the legend. Segment 5. What your 1983 P quarter might be worth for the average person. A circulated 1983 P quarter is still worth 25 cents. But the moment you step into higher grades, values climb fast. A clean, uncirculated coin with sharp detail can bring in tens or hundreds of dollars. A certified high mint state example can reach into the thousands. And a dramatic mint error can send the price soaring. The key is to look for crisp detail in Washington's hair, strong lettering, clean fields with minimal scratches, and any unusual striking features. If your coin looks special, it may be worth having it professionally graded. Segment 6. The thrill of the search. What makes the 1983 P Washington quarter so fascinating is its mix of modern appearance and hidden rarity. It is a coin you could find in an old jar, in a forgotten dresser drawer, or in a handful of pocket change from decades ago. It represents the thrill of the treasure hunt, the hope that the everyday coin in your hand might turn out to be something extraordinary. That is the magic of numismatics. Ordinary objects with extraordinary stories. Closing. The 1983 P Washington quarter reminds us that history, economy, and unexpected minting decisions can turn a common coin into a collector's prize. And while the famous $1.2 million figure represents a theoretical peak rather than a recorded sale, the idea captures the excitement and mystery that surrounds this fascinating coin. So check your change. Check old jars, drawers, and boxes, because you never know what forgotten treasure might be waiting for the right pair of eyes. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy learning the hidden secrets behind everyday coins, make sure you like, subscribe, and join me for the next deep dive into the world of numismatic wonders. If you want, I can also make a shorter version, a more dramatic movie-style version, a version written specifically for voiceover pacing, or a bilingual script. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are exploring one of the most surprising coins from the 1980s, the 1984 D Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but behind that familiar design is a story of scarce high grades, unusual minting issues, and the rare possibility of dramatic errors that drive collectors wild. And under the most extraordinary imaginable circumstances, a single example could reach values that defy expectations, even the attention-grabbing figure of $1.3 million. So what makes this year so special? Let's dive deep into the history, the rarity, and the excitement behind this modern treasure. Segment 1. The background of the 1984 D quarter. The Denver Mint in 1984 was producing massive amounts of circulating coinage for a recovering American economy. The early 80s had brought inflation, economic pressure, and constant demands placed on the United States Mint. As a result, coin production needed to be fast, efficient, and cost-effective. During this period, the Mint's focus was on meeting circulation demand rather than achieving perfect strikes. Quarters from this era were meant to be used immediately, not preserved, which unknowingly set the stage for modern rarity. Segment 2. Why the 1984 D quarter became interesting to collectors. Unlike some earlier years, 1984 did not suffer from a total absence of mint sets, but high-quality Denver quarters were still surprisingly hard to find. The Denver Mint often produced coins with strong strikes, but in 1984 many dies were used longer than ideal. This created coins with weak detail in Washington's hair, inconsistent rims, and softer lettering than seen in earlier years. While the average person never noticed, collectors certainly did. Finding a 1984 D quarter in pristine, untouched condition became harder than anyone expected. Segment 3. The role of errors and minting flaws. What really sets the 1984 D quarter apart is the wide range of mint errors discovered over time. The Denver Mint saw everything from off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, to the rarest type of all, quarters struck on the wrong metal planchet. A wrong metal error from this year can command enormous prices. Combine this with already low survival of pristine coins, and you have the perfect formula for high auction results. Error collectors love this year because the diversity of mistakes means every discovery could be unique. Segment 4. Auction highlights and the path to extreme value. High-grade 1984 D quarters certified in mint state can sell for impressive amounts, sometimes hundreds or thousands of dollars. When you add a dramatic and well-preserved error, prices can shoot even higher. This leads to the big question collectors always ask. Could a 1984 D quarter ever be worth $1.3 million? No currently known coin has reached that price, but in theory, if a flawless, untouched, perfectly struck, never circulated 1984 D quarter appeared with a spectacular, one-of-kind mint error, it could break every expectation and shatter every record. That is how the rarest coins in history have reached their unbelievable numbers. It is the combination of perfection, uniqueness, and demand that creates million-dollar legends. Segment 5. How to know if your 1984 D quarter has value. Most 1984 D quarters in circulation are still worth 25 cents. But the moment you find one with a clean surface, sharp detail, and little to no wear, the value can increase. Look closely at Washington's hair for crisp lines. Examine the rims for strong edges. Check the fields for scratches or dents. If your coin looks unusually perfect, it may be worth having it graded. And if you see something strange such as an off-center design, missing elements, doubled features, or unusual color or weight, you may be holding a valuable mint error. Even moderate errors can bring in solid prices. Segment 6. The mystery and the excitement. The 1984 D Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of an era when the mint was pushed to keep up with an economy in motion. It is a reminder that even modern coins can hide incredible rarity. And it is a perfect example of how a simple object can become a collector's dream. The thrill of this hobby comes from possibility. The possibility that the next coin you find could be the one nobody else has seen. The possibility that somewhere, in a tucked-away jar or an old collection, a coin exists that could rewrite the value charts. This possibility is what fuels the legend of the $1.3 million $1,984 D quarter. Closing. The Washington quarter from 1984 minted in Denver is a modern treasure with a surprising story. From unexpected scarcity in high grades to dramatic minting errors, this coin continues to capture the imagination of collectors everywhere. And while the famous $1.3 million figure represents the highest theoretical potential rather than a documented sale, the excitement behind that possibility is real. So check your change, search your drawers, and look through every old coin jar. Your next discovery might just be the one that turns an ordinary day into an extraordinary moment. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me again for more hidden stories from the world of coins and collectibles. If you want, I can also create versions that are shorter, more dramatic, optimized for voiceover pacing, or tailored to your channel's personality. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a close look at a coin that many people still have in their pockets right now, the 2021 D Washington quarter. It's modern, it's common, and yet it carries a surprising story. Behind its familiar design lies a world of minting quirks, rare errors, and a growing collector interest that has turned certain examples into valuable finds. And yes, in the most extraordinary and theoretical circumstances, the rarest possible specimen could reach astronomical heights, even the dramatic figure of $1.4 million. Let's explore the history, the value, and the hidden potential behind this modern coin. Segment 1. A new beginning for the quarter design. The year 2021 marked a turning point for the Washington quarter. After years of America, the beautiful designs featuring national parks and historic sites, the mint returned to a classic theme. The 2021 quarters featured Washington crossing the Delaware, a bold depiction based on Emanuel Lewitz's famous painting. It was a powerful and patriotic image that stood out from the previous series. This change made the 2021 D quarter instantly recognizable and interesting to collectors, especially because it was only used for one short year before new program designs began in 2022. Segment 2. The role of the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint is known for producing huge quantities of coins for circulation, and in 2021, it was operating at full speed. With heavy demand for coinage during the pandemic, millions of 2021 D quarters were pumped into circulation as quickly as possible. Fast production meant heavy wear on the dies, and as dies weaken, coins can show soft details, faint lettering, or strike inconsistencies. While this doesn't seem important at first glance, it actually plays a major role in creating rarity. Since the majority of coins were made quickly, perfectly struck examples with crisp detail are harder to find than many people realize. Segment 3. The rise of modern error collecting. One of the main reasons the 2021 D quarter has gained attention is the explosion of interest in modern mint errors. Collectors today are fascinated by mistakes such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, die chips, retained cut breaks, and wrong metal planchet errors. Even small die chips, like the famous crown chip above Washington's hat, have become popular among collectors. Large, dramatic errors are extremely rare, and when one appears in a new issue like the 2021 D coin, collectors compete fiercely to obtain it. The excitement around errors has pushed special examples of this year's quarter into the spotlight. Segment 4. From small change to big money, most 2021 D quarters you find in your pocket are worth face value. But when you step into the world of high-grade certification and dramatic errors, the value can rise fast. A flawless coin with perfect strike and strong luster can earn an impressive grade from a professional grading service. That alone can push the value into the hundreds or thousands. Add a dramatic mint error, and the price could skyrocket. This brings us to the big, thrilling question. Could a 2021 D quarter ever sell for $1.4 million? No known coin has reached anything close to that number. But in theory, if a once-in-a-lifetime specimen surfaced, something like a perfectly preserved, one-of-a-kind major mint error combined with flawless condition, it could set a record. The coin world has seen unbelievable prices before, and modern coins are no exception when rarity and perfection align. Segment 5. What to look for in your 2021 D quarter. If you want to know whether your coin has value, start by examining the strike. Look at Washington's face, clothing, and hair for sharp detail. Check the rims for a full, even outline. Inspect the words "In God We Trust" and quarter dollar for crisp lettering. Then look for errors, off-center strikes, doubled letters, missing elements, unusual metal color, or odd weight can signal a valuable mint mistake. Even small die chips or cracks can bring interest if they appear in striking or unusual places on the design. Segment 6. Why a modern coin is so exciting. Many people assume only old coins are valuable, but the 2021 D quarter shows that modern coins can be treasures too. Because they are still circulating, countless people may be holding one without realizing its potential. A jar of change, a glove compartment, a forgotten dresser drawer, any of these places could be hiding a surprise. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. There is always the possibility that an ordinary-looking coin turns out to be incredibly special. Closing. The 2021 D Washington quarter is more than just a piece of pocket change. It marks a moment of transition in design. It reflects the high-speed demands of modern minting, and it offers surprising opportunities for collectors. And while the famous $1.4 million value represents a theoretical limit rather than a recorded sale, the excitement behind that possibility keeps collectors searching. So take a second look at your change. One of the most valuable coins of the decade could be sitting quietly in your hand. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me again for more hidden stories behind everyday coins. If you want, I can also create a shorter script, a more dramatic movie-style version, or a voiceover-optimized version with pacing built in. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're shining a spotlight on a coin that millions of people have handled without a second thought, the 1991 Washington quarter. At first glance, it may seem like just another modern coin. But the truth is that this year hides more surprises than most people realize. From unexpected scarcity in high grades to rare and dramatic mint errors, the 1991 quarter has developed a quiet but growing reputation among collectors. And under the most extraordinary circumstances, a single flawless and exceptional specimen could reach breathtaking values, even the theoretical possibility of $1.5 million. Let's explore the history, the rarity, and the hidden potential behind this modern sleeper coin. Segment 1. A new era for the United States Mint. The early 1990s marked a transition period for United States coinage. The nation was adjusting to new minting technology, changing metal prices, and increasing demand for coins in circulation. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with the P Mint mark, was responsible for producing enormous quantities of quarters in 1991. While the designs were familiar, the Mint was still balancing speed and quality, and that balance plays a major role in the story of this coin. Segment 2. The secret difficulty of high grades. Even though millions of 1991 quarters were created, finding them in pristine condition is harder than many people expect. The coins were produced for circulation, not for collectors. They were rushed through the system, stacked in bags, shipped across the country, and immediately spent by the public. That meant scratches, dents, bag marks, and wear happened almost instantly. Over time, collectors realized that locating a perfect, untouched, sharply struck 1991 quarter was surprisingly difficult. Top-grade examples became far more desirable than expected, especially those with clean surfaces and strong detail. Segment 3. The role of minting errors. Another major reason the 1991 quarter has gained attention is the wide range of mint errors discovered from this year. Off-center strikes, double-struck coins, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and the extremely rare wrong metal planchet errors have appeared. These mistakes happen when blank discs or dies are misaligned, damaged, or replaced improperly during the minting process. Dramatic errors can transform an everyday coin into a valuable collectible. When you combine rarity, strong condition, and a major error, the value can increase dramatically. Segment 4. Auction surprises. In the path to extreme value, most 1991 quarters remain common, but the rarest and highest graded pieces have brought impressive results. Coins graded at the very top of the scale, with perfect strike, blinding luster, and almost no marks, can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Add an error, especially a severe or unique one, and the price can skyrocket. That leads to the big, thrilling question. Could a 1991 Washington quarter ever be worth $1.5 million? No known example has sold for that amount. But in theory, the right coin could reach an astonishing price. A perfectly preserved specimen with a once-in-a-lifetime mint error and flawless condition could break records. Extreme rarity paired with collector demand has produced million-dollar shockers before, and the 1991 quarter is no exception to that possibility. Segment 5. What to look for in your 1991 quarter. If you want to know whether your coin has value, start with the basics. Look for strong detail in Washington's hair, crisp lettering, and a clean surface free from scratches. Check the reverse for sharp detail on the eagle's feathers, wings, and lettering. Then look for errors. Off-center designs, unusual shapes, missing edges, doubled letters, extra metal blobs, clipped portions, or strange coloration can all be signs of valuable mistakes. If you see anything unusual, or if your coin looks unusually perfect, it may deserve a professional grading evaluation. Segment 6. Why this coin has captured collector attention. The 1991 Washington quarter represents a fascinating mix of modern production, unexpected rarity, and exciting error potential. It shows that valuable coins aren't limited to the distant past. Even a simple quarter from the early 90s can become a treasure when preserved in perfect condition or struck with a dramatic minting mistake. This unpredictability is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every handful of change holds the possibility of discovery. Closing. The 1991 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of currency. It is a modern collectible with a hidden story, shaped by the minting pressures and production quirks of its time. And while the $1.5 million value represents the highest theoretical potential rather than a real sale, It highlights the thrill and mystery that surround this coin. So take a closer look at your pocket change, your old rolls, or that forgotten jar in the back of a drawer. You never know when you might come across a piece of history hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me next time for more hidden treasures from the world of coins and collectibles. If you'd like, I can also create a dramatic cinematic version, a shorter fast-paced version, or a version written specifically for narration pacing. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of the 1994 Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary modern coin, something you might still find in your pocket, in your car, or inside an old coin jar. But behind its simple appearance lies a surprising story of scarcity and high grades, dramatic mint errors, and a growing collector demand that has pushed certain examples to incredible heights. And under the most extraordinary circumstances, a flawless, one-of-a-kind example could theoretically reach the breathtaking figure of $1.5 million. Let's explore the history, the value, and the hidden potential behind this underrated modern quarter. Segment 1. The minting landscape of the mid-1990s. In 1994, the Denver Mint was producing enormous quantities of coins for everyday circulation. The United States economy was busy, expanding, and demanding more currency than ever. Because of this pressure, the Mint focused heavily on speed and efficiency. That meant quarters were struck quickly, packaged fast, and immediately shipped into circulation. These coins were never intended to be collector pieces. They were workhorses of commerce, meant to be spent, not preserved. This reality is an important part of what makes high-grade 1994 quarters so interesting today. Segment 2. Why high-grade examples are hard to find even though millions of 1994 quarters were produced. Finding one in perfect condition is more challenging than you might think. The coins were stored in large bags, tossed around in transport, dropped into counting machines, and quickly worn down by circulation. They picked up scratches, marks, and dents long before collectors had a chance to save them. Over time, it became clear that perfect or near-perfect examples with sharp strikes and clean surfaces were much rarer than most people expected. This scarcity is one of the first steps in creating collector value. Segment 3. Mint errors and the unexpected treasures. Another reason the 1994 quarter has sparked interest is the wide variety of mint errors that appeared that year. Off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and even the extremely rare wrong metal planchet errors have been documented. These mistakes happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, such as misaligned dies, damaged equipment, or incorrect blanks being fed into the presses. Dramatic errors are prized by collectors because each one is unique. When you add an error to an already tough year for high-grade coins, the value can jump dramatically. Segment 4. Auction surprises and the path to massive value. Typical 1994 quarters in circulated condition are worth face value. But high-end collector pieces are a completely different story. Coins graded near the top of the mint state scale, especially MS-67 or MS-68, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. When a coin is both extremely high-grade and features a striking mint error, the price skyrockets. This leads to the exciting question collectors always ask. Could a 1994 quarter ever sell for $1.5 million? While no known coin has reached that figure, the answer is that it is theoretically possible. If a flawless, perfectly preserved, sharply struck, major error example were discovered, and it was the only one of its kind, the coin could break every record. In the world of numismatics, once-in-a-lifetime discoveries have shocked the market before, proving that even ordinary-looking coins can achieve extraordinary values. Segment 5. How to identify a valuable 1994 quarter. If you want to know whether your 1994 quarter has value, start by checking its condition. Look for clean surfaces, strong luster, and sharp detail in Washington's hair, face, and clothing. The rims should be bold, the lettering crisp, and the eagle on the reverse sharply defined. Now check for errors. Look for off-center designs, doubled lettering, unusual shapes, cracks, extra metal bumps, or anything that looks out of place. Finally, pay attention to weight and color. A wrong planchet error will often look or feel different. If your coin seems unusual or exceptionally perfect, it may be worth sending to a professional grading company for certification. Segment 6. Why the 1994 D quarter captures collector interest. This coin represents a perfect combination of modern mintage, unexpected scarcity, and error potential. It is a reminder that valuable coins are not limited to the distant past. Even coins from the 1990s can surprise collectors when they appear in exceptional condition or with remarkable minting mistakes. The thrill of the hobby comes from the possibility that one extraordinary coin is still out there, waiting to be found. Closing. The 1994 D Washington quarter is more than just a piece of currency. It is a window into the production pressures of the mid-1990s, a lesson in how high-speed minting can create rare treasures, and a symbol of why collectors remain fascinated by modern coins. And while the $1.5 million figure represents the extreme upper end of theoretical potential rather than a documented sale, it highlights the excitement and mystery that surround this fascinating coin. So check your change, search your old rolls, and look through every forgotten coin jar. You may be closer than you think to discovering something extraordinary. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and join me for more hidden stories from the world of coins and collectibles. If you want, I can also write a faster-paced version, a more dramatic cinematic version, or a shorter script for quick YouTube formats.